Hello. It's the 4th of July, so what better way to celebrate than with a book tag, of course. So this is specifically the 4th of July book tag, appropriately. This I got from a blog, and it was Anne with a book. So I will share that link. And yeah, so I will be, Sir Chunk is still really sick, so he is a man, so he refuses to go to the doctor, but hopefully he'll either get better or he will go to a doctor. So I have a couple other tags I wanted to do, but I kind of want to get him involved. One in particular is about like rock music, and I don't really know a lot about rock music. Like I listen to a lot of folk. So yeah. All right. So this is the 4th of July book tag. Happy 4th of July. All right. So the first prompt, find a red, white, and blue book that you have read. So I really tried to kind of branch out and use different books. So it's kind of my goal is as much as possible with a lot of these tags. I want to try to, give some variety. So I picked Impulse by Ellen Hopkins for red, Long Day's Journey into Night by Eugene O'Neill for white, and Life as We Knew It by Susan Beth Pfeffer for my blue. All of these I really enjoyed. Impulse is YA written in verse, about like mental health, like an impulse disorder essentially. Long Day's Journey into Night, if you don't know, is a famous play about alcoholism and family. And then Life as We Knew It is also YA. It's a series of, it's not really dystopian. It's sort of like natural dystopian, kind of survivalist type of thing, where essentially the moon gets too close to Earth, and so it turns into like not nuclear winter, but essentially like this really bad winter, and so everyone kind of has to learn to survive. Really a fun series. Definitely worth checking out if you're looking for like something actiony that's kind of a unique perspective on that. No cannibals or anything like that. It's it's really about survival. So the next one is a book with Ragtag Band of Revolutionaries. I was going to go with Harry Potter, but I felt like that was a little too obvious, so I went with Hunger Games, which is still pretty obvious. There's a lot of different ways you could approach this, but Hunger Games, I feel like it's pretty ragtag, kind of forced into it. And then the Hunger Games series, obviously, they become more and more of like a group. So really probably Mockingjay would probably be the best example, but, the Hunger Games series as a whole is sort of about, kids fighting the government. So, all right. So the next one is a book set in one of the original 13 colonies. And I could have just gone with like classic literature because most of that was, set in the colonies. Or I could have just gone with Stephen King. Although technically Maine was part of Massachusetts, but, essentially same thing. But I went with Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close just because this is a book I really like, and I have yet to find really a prompt that I could use it for. So set in New York, post 9/11. If you haven't read it, definitely check it out. It's amazing. All right, and then we have a book set in England. And so I went with, it's a futuristic England, but, in keeping with kind of the revolutionary spirit. I went with V for Vendetta. This is just fantastic. Loved the graphic novel, the series. Graphic novel is, I read it in a graphic novel format. I think there are like individual comics, but the graphic novel is amazing and the movie's amazing. So, but it's set in a futuristic England, but it definitely has that like revolutionary feel. So felt like a good one. And then we have Book That Ends with a Bang, kind of like a fireworks finale. There were a few I thought of, but I actually went with Presumed Innocent by Scott Turow. This is one of those books that I just think like knocked me on my ass, like in terms of like the ending. So if you haven't read this or seen the movie, definitely check it out, especially if you like Harrison Ford. And then we have red, white, and blue books that you want to read. So I have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, which I hear amazing things about. In the Woods by Tana French. This is the first in the Dublin Murder Squad, and I started this, loved it, beautifully written, really into it, and then I just, over time, I think I was like reading it when we were moving or something at one point, and I just never got back to it. So this is definitely something I want to get back to. I tend to like not really like series where it's just, you know, one book about one crime and then the same group of people investigating the next crime, just because I feel like I get, like, I have to worry about reading them in order, and then there's a lot of them. So I tend to try to avoid that. I do like standalone books, but this seemed really good, and I've heard great things. And then also a series is the Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I don't really know a lot about this. It just sounded really good, and I always like Maureen Johnson's books. They're just really fun. And like when she has kind of like horror / thriller kind of books, they're always like fun and fairly well put together. So I've mentioned in a recent video that I feel like a lot of YA kind of thrillers stretch the limits of plausibility a bit much for me. So I don't know if this will be the same, but in the past when I've read her stuff, I feel like it's kind of kept to being, at least somewhat realistic. So plus she has just kind of like a good writing style. So those are some books I'm going to try to get to at some point. And so happy 4th of July. Tag yourself in this if you would like. Guess you have limited time to do so, but feel free. And hope you have great fireworks and hot dogs or whatever you do on the 4th of July. And if you're not in the U.S., well, then I hope you have a good Tuesday. All right. Okay, bye.